decker over to this table here, so we can get an update.
Yeah.
And these life totals aren't correct. We're gonna fix that in a minute.
It looks like they have it down on the screen. We can see 20 to 12. So chat, here's a question for the chat while we wait for Travis to conduct some business. Deck you will take to the RCQ. What's the deck to take it down, do you think? There is that Shadow Spear, by the way. Too bad we're not getting to see it in play against Enchantress. RCQs, what's the deck to beat the field? Travis, I'll ask you the same question.
Oh, I gotta get these names and stuff on here. It's gonna take me just a second. This is game 1 for all those folks interested.
Yeah, I brought in half Leyline and Firecraft, thinking that you'd bring in Flusterstorm or like Spell Pierce or something. Yeah, I don't know if Leyline actually would have done that much.
Bails out sloppy play is where I'm at. I'm going to need a little bit of that love, usually in my experience. Having to play every decision right is not going to get me to the end. Traverse your Orion mirror.
Well, good luck on the next one.
Monoblutron. So the question was, and chat's been chiming in.
All right.
Okay, let's hear what we got. Set us up for this match we're looking at. Greg Hag, I believe with 2 Gs, I think.
Yeah, and then I was busy typing in people's folks' names there. Did you see who took that game?
No, I was actually looking at the chat. Chat, bail us out. Who won the last game there? Was it Sean on Titan or was it Greg with the hammer? All right, Sean took it, so it's 1-0 then in this round.
All right.
Both players going to sideboard.
Okay, Amulet Titan versus Hammertime. I mean, Hammertime, both decks kind of pretty explosive games here. We can do, it's been a while, and the decks are have been built to be a bit more resilient now that you don't have the Lurrus, but Hammertime used to be able to do the turn 2 kill with Infect sometimes. That's a little bit, not those kind of more all-in builds aren't quite as popular, and Titan sometimes has a turn 2, but these decks are going to be all about like setting up for like a turn 3 or turn 4. Titan's going to have like maybe up to 4 Boseijus post-board, which is pretty great, and maybe perhaps some amount of Force of Vigors or whatever other artifact destruction spell. Force of Vigor just absolutely blows out Hammertime. Depending on if Greg is on the blue splash, we might get some spell pierces or something here. That's kind of, I'm going to zoom
I think
in
if you're in this pairing, you probably hope you are on the blue splash. I think it gets a lot harder. Thoughtseize maybe helps you out if you're playing black, but
I think we're just on the
not
mono
common
white.
with Lurrus now.
But we might have some protection spells hanging there. It looks like Greg's on Paradise Mantle build, and the mantle's coming out.
Yeah, that's a one of, I think, in some lists, because it can be tutored. But yeah, taking it out, you got to figure Sean's got probably a couple forces of vigor, and I'm gonna guess probably 3, maybe 4 Boseijus in the deck in the 75. So I think if you lose the role as Greg in this pairing, you might be in some real trouble after round 1.
Yeah, it looks like chat noticing that Lavinia was in Greg's sideboards. That would be the
good
blue
spot.
splash. Yeah,
Good
and
spot.
I mean that could be a fine card to bring in. It's just a very small speed bump for Titan. It's not going to be a game-winning sideboard card, but it could slow Sean down enough that Greg might be able to go under. But I feel like Greg's going to have to play a little bit risky and go kind of all in and hope that Sean doesn't have it.
This is a really great example of the play to your outs, and knowing when your out is, I have to take the small chance that's going to get me there instead of the thing that I think might get me there but is not committed enough. And that's been a real, I'm not expressing myself very well, but learning that moment to seize the option that you have has been a real process of growth for me as a Magic player. Yeah, see Chrome Coast there, plenty of blue in Greg's deck.
I always do love seeing a good Titan player, and because I feel like there's games where I think there's no way that they should be able to win from here. There's like multiple hate pieces out, and then all of a sudden the hate pieces are gone, and they've been searching their deck like
Usually
4
that's a
times.
Valakut Dryad thing when that happens, I find. My son, who I play a lot of Modern with, plays exclusively Amulet Titan. He's still on the Karn build, which I gather nobody else is still doing. But yeah, it's a good deck. You do need 2 amulets to get there on turn 2, but you can do it.
Looks like Sean's with a couple Teleria West in hand. What else do we have there? Anything? No, we got a keeper.
Chat's saying that Karn is more common than I'm giving it credit for. And it's hard to know, really, isn't it? Because the paper thing that's happening is so different from all the online results, it's so easy to know about. So I do really think there's such a large gap between what's going on online and how consolidated and condensed the meta is there. And what you're likely to see at the RCQ is pretty different, kind of almost a different metagame.
All right, Greg, not shocking here. So we're not valuing having blue mana off a land.
And another fetch in hand there for Greg, too.
Yeah. I mean, 18 is an important number when you play against Titan.
It's true. It really is. 16 is kind of the key, because that's the +2 and double strike. But you either do care about your life total or you don't care at all with Titan, pretty much.
Accurate. All right. We have a giver of runes hanging out over here, so a little bit of protection.
Quentin.
Yeah, well, if people want to add another beer, you can. All of any money that gets cheersed at us actually just goes right to our pocket. So if folks want to cheers Nat a beer, how much are beers here?
I do believe they're $6.
$6, yeah. So
customary give a tip, but I'd be happy to cover the tip, chat. So, in case that was holding you back.
Nat was all ready to play a scammy deck, or wait, the sack deck, right?
I was going to play the sack deck. I was not going to play scam. It has some of those scam cards, but it's not as scammy, because you get there on stacking, not on scamming. Not about scamming. Pub beers are 3 set. Yeah, but it's not drawn off a tap. I kind of don't have time for it. I'm 51. I'm not getting any younger.
Yeah, we got our I think tier 2 crew right now. We're skewing a little bit older here. We're gonna go to bed early.
Oh, it's so fun to hear you owning it like that, Travis. Your time also will come.
All right, we had a Karoo land. We have 2 amulets, so we've got interesting. Yeah,
2 amulets is so much trouble. It's so much trouble. You almost can't win when they get 2 amulets if you can't blow that up.
I'm assuming Sean has another Karoo land in hand as well, because very rarely do you want to have that be the last land on the battlefield.
No, yeah, you got to have something to pop it back up in hand. So with a Zeus on the battlefield, we're looking at even if you have to T-West for it, if he's got blue, he's going to have Titan next turn.
Greg's hand is kind of trash here. It looked like he has 2 hammers and a Shadow Spear. That is just like, one.
None of the enablers are happening here. It's not everything but enablers.
Yeah, Pure Steel or Sigarda's Aid, it really unlocks a lot of stuff.
Yep. Can't just throw that hammer out on the battlefield.
Oh my God!
Wow. So what are the lands in hand here? Do we see?
It looks like we have Summoner's Pact, Teleria West.
I see the T-West in the pack, but like these darn alternate arts, I can't
tell
what those other cards are.
I'm drunk driving right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, I haven't agreed there, buddy. All right, Boseju's in hand. We don't have a bounce land in hand. That's a Force of Vigor.
Oh.
So Force of Vigor and Pact, T-West in play. You're going to get 3 mana off your T-West when you play it, and that's only one of your lands. So the T-West will cast itself if you can get it back in hand.
All right, we're making a construct.
Sean has left himself with the only bounce land he has is in play, and that's bad news.
Okay, we're exiling Summer's Pack for a Force of Vigor. It feels like both of these decks are like the enabler away from going off right now.
If Sean top decks Simic, whatever the green blue one is,
Yeah,
like
you had
the
it. You
game's
had
over.
it. Civic Growth Chamber. That was.
Yeah, if he gets a growth chamber, the game is over. Because
Right.
I think he can get through all those constructs.
It looks like the targets were the Saga and the Shadow Spear.
You like
oh
that?
man, does Greg play one hammer right now? I think you do.
And now they're 5/5s. 5/5 is important because now you can't just swing through with your double striker, which otherwise you could do.
Yeah, and that's you could have just activated the Ink Moth for the same amount of damage. It does. Let's see. Next turn, if there's that makes the math a little bit different, but that's interesting. All right, what we drew another. Let's see. What did we draw for?
I don't know,
Sean.
but if it's not a bounce land, I think he's kind of in real trouble right now.
Holding the
Wait,
cards
no, he
tight.
got another force there, didn't he? So force is not terrible. It keeps you alive here. You don't have mana to cast it, though. Well, it's not true. Well, shoot. You can only get one green out of your mana. That's effed up. You play Boseiju will give you...
It's like
If you play Boseiju, you can actually hard cast the force, which is, I think, what you have to do, right?
I can't say for certain what I saw in Sean's hand except for the Teleria West. So.
He's got T West, a Boseiju, and a force.
Another Force of Vigor?
He drew another
Okay.
force,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You got to play Boseiju pass, I agree. I think it's the only play, because you're going to have to shut down these constructs before they beat your face in. If you don't, it only gives you one turn if you let them get through this turn.
And didn't see, I think maybe that was an Ornithopter that Greg picked up, but... Yeah. So Greg's
there's
got a
6/6s.
hammer left over in hand.
And can also activate Inkmoth. So potentially he can make 8/8s out of those things.
Yeah, it seems like both players kept hands that were missing one piece but had all the other pieces, which I feel like you do a lot with either of these decks because you have a lot of redundancy.
Oh,
of
he's going for
effects.
the sucker play here. If he doesn't chump, he's going to activate Inkmoth and kill him right here in combat step. So Sean has to chump or force here, and I don't think he can't cast the force because he doesn't have a green spell. All right, good for him. I think he needed that Azusa, though. I mean, you get triple Amulet triggers, you're still in good shape, but Azusa really makes unlimited mana for you if you get to keep her.
Okay, what do we have off the top?
That's a Dryad. I don't know if that's going to do him any good. You still could play that Boseiju. I still think you should. Kill those constructs that are your actual problem. And
Yeah, you can cast the... if you have Dryad in play, you can cast the Force of Vigor if you have, untapped lands. But
yeah. Well, all his lands are going to untap 3 times.
Yeah, so you'd have, I guess you could play the line of play Dryad and then your TOS is going to get the triggers. And
Well, Dryad makes everything tap for G,
Yep.
so yeah.
We're deep in the tank here. We're trying to do those like digging for outs that I was talking about when
That's
we
right.
introduced the
He
match.
really, I do really think he needed to play the Boseiju last turn, force both of those tokens, keep his Amulet in play, and hope to draw some gas. I think that's your only thing. You can T-West now for another land. So if he plays that other T-West on this turn, having done what I said last turn, I guess you don't play it, but can you get blue out of your... No, you have enough if you do it that way. So with Azusa still in play, you get a bounce land, but then you've used both your T-Wests. Yeah, it's tough. It's a thinky deck on both sides, but particularly on the Hammer side, or the Titan side.
Yeah, I was kind of going through the lines there, and I don't play a lot of Titan, but I was thinking you could T-West for T-West for the Simic Growth Chamber, and then be able to both play
Yeah.
Dryad
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
cast Force of Vigor.
Chat's pointing out that what's going to happen here is the giver is going to protect one of the tokens from force. So having no blocker on board, he's dead anyway.
All right, that is game. So okay, we're
Yep.
gonna get a full match here. Greg
Yep.
takes that one.
Yep.
Yeah, that was that was exceedingly fair. Greg just played
Yep.
Urza's
Yep.
Urza's Saga and made some construct tokens.
Yep. Yeah, and both players struggling without being able to do what their decks are actually trying to do, and Greg just being able to put it together a little bit better than Sean was in that case. Sean was really cornered being on the draw and not having a single thing to actually do besides get a lot of amulets that did nothing because no bounce lands. I'm not sure chat might have noticed, but if there was a way to not leave that bounce land on the battlefield, the game looks real different if you can keep that thing up in your hand so you can take advantage of all of those Azusa triggers and all of those amulets.
Yeah, when you have Amulet going and you only have one bounce land, you usually want that to end up in your hand at the end of resolving triggers.
Yeah, you pick it up to itself is exactly the point. And if you have Azusa and 3 amulets, I mean, good lord, that's what, 18 mana right there off one bounce land? It's ridiculous. Yeah. Didn't he have the Gruul Turf? Was it the red-white one? I thought it was the green-red one.
I don't quite remember, and I'm not sure like the context of like which turns that the amulet, like how many amulets were in the opening hand, etc. But yeah.
Yeah. So that means you never cast the green spells unless you play the Boseiju out. It's true, yeah. Boros Garrison is no good if it's your only bounce land. It's not going to get you anywhere. And by the way, the only reason I'm able to talk even half intelligently about this deck is because I play against it all the time in my house.
That sounds like fun.
It's okay, It's hanging out with my son, which, by the way, if you don't have kids yet, chat, you're going to want to do when you get them.
Yeah, your kid's been playing Magic for a long time.
I know. Do you remember what deck he started on here?
Boggles.
It was Boggles.
Yeah.
Bogles, but yeah.
Oh, you're a Bogles person?
It's spelled Bogles. I don't
I'm
know
a
why
Boggles person.
Does it have 2 Gs?
Okay, can we get a vote in chat?
Yeah,
on
chat.
Bogles
Bail
or
us out.
Boggles?
Long O or short O. It's totally Boggles.
Yeah.
No.
Yes, it's totally Boggles. You just
If
said
it were,
it.
there's this word called Boggle, and it has 2 Gs. That's already a word. There's also a word Ogle.
Boggles like bog.
That's
Boggles.
Bogles like Bogue, like bogus, man.
No, that bog. Bogus has a U S
If you
on it.
spell it with 2 Gs, you're saying Boggles. Well, chat, look at how wrong.
Look at how
the
wrong
chat
that
is.
is.
It's
Love it.
it's the
Love
children
it.
who are wrong.
Hmm.
Perhaps I'm out of touch. No.
All right. This looks like a decent opener for Sean. We had Tafland
Both
turn
sides,
1.
actually, running out the
Yeah, well, okay.
jamming on Greg's side seems good, and getting your equipment there. Searching.
Damn.
There you go, 406. Lol knows the score. It's Bogles because it only has 1 G, therefore it's a slippery bogle.
Okay, I will say you do this sometimes, Nat, and Greg does this to me. When we first started the stream, we had like really shitty webcams, and they would freeze on us all the time, and we'd had like be resetting stuff. And Greg will start searching and then pause and then be perfectly still, and so I have this like trauma of like, oh shit, our camera's frozen.
Stop swearing. You're on Twitch right now, man.
We have a content advisory. We're
we can
good.
swear?
We can
Fuck
swear.
yeah. All right.
And we even have it on YouTube, so we're good.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the shit. Love it, you asshole.
But you do that as well. You also like search and then freeze. But now we've, this is pretty. This is an all volunteer thing that we do here, and we've been gathering equipment for the past 3 years. So we have some pretty rad stuff that we've gotten from our Twitch subscribers, some tiny amount of YouTube revenue, etc.
Nice.
But yeah,
That's great. Congratulations. And by the way, like I am completely, for those of you who don't know in the chat, I am guest starring here. I normally play at this shop. Big fan of Travis in the chat and the stream, I mean to say. But don't normally do this at all. And they have been banging away at this now for it's been like 4 years. I'm up at like 42 months, I think, on subscriber.
well, once we have channel points, you're just going to absolutely destroy us.
And and it's just, it keeps getting better. That's what I love, is you're not resting on your laurels. You have this new pan and scan feature. I've never seen that before tonight. Love it.
It's
happy
cool.
to be part of it. Happy to want a cookie?
I will. I'll eat one when we take our break between
Okay,
rounds.
there you go. All right. So, okay, so we got distracted there, kind of missed the thread of what's going on. Weirdly, we've got, what are we playing over there with that red land? What the hell even is going on Sean's lands there?
It's a Valakut, and we
Is
made
that a Valakut?
construct- Yeah.
Oh, alternate arts, God.
So
suck.
I think Greg really wanted another land,
Yeah.
so that we could have activated Ink Moth, swung in, throw the hammer on it if you want to kind of go all in here. Did not. I don't think we did that. So we're sort of just a little bit stuck. We don't have, no Springleaf Drum, no Paradise Mantle.
Well, I did not see what's happening, but Sean's about to come in for some big news next turn, because with that Dryad on the battlefield, he has green bounce land in hand. And he's about to get a second Amulet off that that Urza Saga. So he's going to have 2 Amulets. He's got a green bounce land. He can play 2 lands off the Dryad. So it's about to get real ugly for Greg next turn. And if he can't win this turn and he recognizes it, then he's got to be thinking very carefully about what his defensive play is, so he can maybe get there on the crackback, or I don't know what. Things are looking bad for Greg. What
That's
is
a Hushbringer.
Yeah, that's the ETB effects.
It like that art makes me feel so uncomfortable.
Pretty
I
good.
remember when that card got printed.
That's the one with the lips, right?
Oh yeah, like
Why
look
is
at
it
that.
like that
Doesn't that look
even?
like some really bad 80s or early 90s
yeah, it could be on
thriller?
like a poster on like a. What were those? Yeah, I don't. That's pretty bad. Those lips are pretty bad. And Travis, you have more than once expressed your appreciation for the fact that we are more now into a actual painted art rather than computer art paradigm on so many of our cards.
That was a low time right there. I mean, but maybe it'll turn into like one of the Velvet paintings in 10 years, where it looks really cheesy when it comes out, but then it has some like
it's a kitsch value.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I think the odds of that are pretty slim. The way Wizards is printing like alternate arts now, I think there's always going to be some cooler version of those cards than the crappy one. Like the promo Fatal Pushes.
Pretty cool, yeah.
I don't agree. I think there's just, I mean, Fatal Push not a great looking card, but the promo ones are ugly.
All right, shout out to Quinn for re-upping a sub here. If you notice, all of our sub badges are the old cards that World Champions designed, and they're chronological. So the older the sub, the cooler player design card you have.
Oh, is that how you set it up?
That's how we
So
set it up.
thoughtful. Love it. So what's the oldest one?
I feel like I can't spoil them until
Okay.
unless Ian's
Alright,
here.
fair
But
enough.
if you typed something and you're logged into chat, folks will get to see the oldest one, because you are.
I don't have that. I have like a founder and a first or something like that. I don't have a face. I don't have anybody's card.
Oh yeah, you do.
Really?
It shows up in chat when you do it.
Well, I don't use my phone like that. Not a boomer. Not a boomer, but don't use my phone like that.
How do you turn this thing on?
Shut the fuck up. How much can we swear? Is there a limit to?
Keep things cordial and respectful, I would say. But yeah, I'm not going to start.
I mean to
Eating,
say,
yeah.
like YouTube and Twitch. How much can we swear?
Treat it like a PG-13 movie.
Okay. That's all you need to say. I can frickin' get with that. All right, let me see if I can do this here. I actually have my browser hidden on my phone because I never use the internet on my phone.
All right, we're kind of just playing like we were playing a construct game there. This is
I've completely lost the thread of the game. I'm sorry, chat.
Yeah, we're just
Kinda
going off
riffing.
on tangents here, left and right.
Kinda riffing.
Yeah, the request was to see what needle's on. Let's see. Okay, 406. I'm gonna use my legs here. I'm gonna abandon you for a minute,
It's
and
a
I'll
bold
go
move,
find
Cotton. All right. Yeah, Ink Moth? Possibly Urza Saga? Can't be Ink Moth. Or is it? Ink Moth's. So I guess he named Urza Saga? Am I right?
out. Stoneforge Mystic was the name for needle.
Okay. I'm. I think getting. Well, maybe if he had the force already in hand, getting the needle for Stoneforge makes sense. Not loving it. Search effects are really good against the Titan deck. I don't know if there are such effects in white. But he's playing blue, and he could be playing Ashiok. Ashiok is a house against Amulet Titan.
Oh yeah, white has like the OG, like can't search your
you
library.
thinking Aven Mind Sensor, right?
Yeah, Aven Mind Sensor.
Oh, that would be so
Yep.
fun to see an Aven Mind Sensor flash out. That would be super fun.
All right, instant speed hammer. We're going for the kill here, I think, Moth.
This is after blockers? Is this game just over? Aven Mind Sensor is not symmetrical. Aven Mind Sensor is opponent only.
Unsure what the force targets were, but it definitely wasn't Ink Moth.
I'm sorry, Chad. Like I said, I'm not a pro at this, and I've distracted this so much that I have no idea what's going on.
You're just
I'm gonna
eating
shut up
cookies
pay
and
attention to
drinking
cards for a
beer
little bit.
here. But yeah, it looks like Greg takes that one. We definitely get the distracted and tangential commentator awards there, but also don't have the best mic for our backup feature match, so you couldn't quite hear what everyone at the table was naming with targets. But yeah, looks like Hushbringer, sweet sideboard card, bad art, sweet sideboard card there.
Oh, can we get the card summoned up, Aven Mind Sensor here?
Oh
Love
boy.
that card. I do actually own 2 of that card from Future Sight, and bought them right here at Guardian Games years ago, back when Dane was working the front counter, and I do recall, and I believe I spent like 20 or 25 bucks for both of them, for each of them.
All right, I'm doing this for you. This is a bit hard, but
So
let's see if I can pull up Aven Mind Sensor.
Aven Mind Sensor is a card that I still have it in my library at home. I do look at it every so often when I'm running white and think, gosh, that's probably good for some matches. Have not thrown it in the deck for years and years, but still own them. Yeah, Dane, that was some time ago now. Different management, different ownership. I do think Guardian seems to be doing quite well for itself financially, and given the difficult circumstances, that seems all to their credit. If they can make it happen, then I think they should.
All right, I'm having some issues with our card fetcher, so yeah, well, we might do a flavor of the week later on, and then we'll be able to get up Aven Mind Sensor there, but not happening right now because we don't have our producer extraordinaire Ian Lunger hanging out with us.
Will Ian be playing during the kind of the rainy season, the winter? Will he be more regular in the booth?
Ian will be here. He is currently, I think we had some familial obligations.
As one does.
And let's see. There we go. But we are going to go take a break, do a little stretch, maybe have some refreshments. We are currently just done with round number 2 out of 4 here at Modern Mondays. If you're just tuning in, we're here every Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific time, streaming 4 rounds of competitive Modern Magic the Gathering at Guardian Games in Portland, Oregon. We've got about 45 players hanging out here tonight. And we're going to leave you with the jam and see you in about 5 minutes.
Enjoy the killer tunes, chat. We'll be